Hello everyone, welcome to an episode of Leatherneck Insider. I'm Patrick Cummings.
And I'm Glenn Novak. We're starting things off with our TSSR Game Time Live Athlete of the Week. Kobe Blackmon got to speak to this week's winner.
Welcome back to another segment of TSSR Game Time Live Athlete of the Week. I'm Kobe Blackmon, joined here with softball player Ruby Tar. Ruby, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. And start off with question one. Freshman to sophomore, all OVC newcomer team, second in hits. Just talk to me. How has the coaching staff helped you throughout this process?
Well, I was blessed enough with so many opportunities last year. Freshman year is never easy. Everything's new. But now settling in, I know what it's like. And again, the coaches have blessed me with so many opportunities to kind of grow off of.
Talk to me about the team mindset this year. What's the culture like this year?
The culture is really, really good this year. We've all grown. I mean, last year we were a pretty young team. This year we're coming back. We've got some experience, and we're really focused on executing, doing what we are trying to do. And the culture, the family aspect has really helped us through that.
Yeah, talk to me about the most recent tournament, the first tournament of the season. You kind of get the first game jitters out. Just what's some things you like as individually or team that you did like or didn't like?
As a team, I really liked how we showed some fight, especially in our last game. We grew every single game. Obviously, the first game's not going to be pretty. It's the first game of the year. You can't expect much out of that, but you can expect to grow, and I believe we did that throughout every game.
Yeah, and for sure, kind of a fun question here. I get 5 chances. I hit the ball 5 times. Do I get struck out? Do I get out every time? You're in the infield as well.
I think you do. I think you're out every time.
All right, thank you, Ruby, for your time. I'm Kobe Blackmon, reporter from Leatherneck Insider.
Thanks, Kobe, and congrats to Ruby Tar on her first nomination. The women's softball team go on the road to play Alabama A&M University on February 17th.
Last week, Western Illinois University announced the hiring of Mari Silva as the next head coach of the women's volleyball team. Silva comes into Macomb after 4 seasons at Towson University, most recently helping the Tigers to a 21-7 overall record during the 2025 season. Before Towson, Silva spent a season as an assistant head coach at Missouri Southern State and worked with the Northern Virginia Volleyball Association as a full-time coach and intern technical director. Her collegiate coaching experience also includes roles at George Mason and Valdosta State. As a player, Silva competed at Florida International University, leading the team in assists and service aces as a junior and ranking among Conference USA's top blockers. Good luck, Coach Silva and the women's volleyball team on their next season.
Don't go anywhere. We talk about the diamond and the hardwood after this break.
Our story began with a spark that started on the prairies of Western Illinois. From a bell tower which stood as a new beacon of knowledge for all to see, to the cranes that swing over campus today, advancing our vision to inspire, educate, and lead. That spark ignited a legacy of students using their talents and perseverance to make the world a better place in ways big and small. In this 125th year, we celebrate the remarkable journey of Western Illinois University, a milestone marked by dedication, boundless ambition, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. We have pushed the envelope far beyond what our founders could have imagined. We have broken new ground, set records, and made discoveries. Whatever challenges we have faced over the years, we grow stronger from them and evolve. We remain devoted to our fighting Leatherneck spirit, the spirit of the underdog that fuels creativity, generosity, and determination. Leathernecks can be found in communities across the state, the country, and the world, doing their part to be a positive force wherever they go. Today, in Macomb and the Quad Cities, students from all walks of life meet to share ideas and aspirations. Our students bring new perspectives and aim to be part of something bigger than themselves. The Leatherneck legacy lives inside these walls and in all of us. Together, we are marching on.
Welcome back to Leatherneck Insider. The WIU softball team kicked their season off once again at the Rosemont Dome tournament in Rosemont, Illinois. Though this result was different than the last. This time, going 1 for 4, winning the last game against Detroit Mercy 9-8. Ruby Tar drove in 3 and had 2 hits. Freshman newcomer Angie Ortiz drove in 2 on 1 swing. Detroit Mercy, however, only had 1 earned run as Leatherneck's defense made 3 errors. Audrey Clark pitched 3 and a third, allowing no earned runs, but scored 3 when she was out there. Lily Woods finished out the game, allowing the only earned run of the game. Leathernecks are making a trip down south as they finish a series against the Arkansas Pine Bluff and are then going over to Alabama A&M for a 2-game series. Good luck, ladies.
Now let's head over to the hardwood for some highlights. After a tough road loss to Tennessee State, the WIU women's basketball team came back home to play in the East-West battle against Panthers of Eastern Illinois University. We'll start off in the first quarter of play with Mina Castro on the perimeter, driving in the post. She puts up a floater for a 10-point run to start the game. Moving into the second quarter, Reed now on the perimeter gets the ball down low to Davis, who makes the layup to extend the lead to 15. We're going to head over to Reed later in the second, drives under the basket and puts a shot up behind the back and gets it to go for the highlight play. Heading to the third quarter play, we've got Brownfield to Davis, who puts up the 3, good to keep the lead to 30-plus points. Still in the third, Reed and Castro looks for someone up top and finds Brownfield driving the lane, and she gets the layup for 2 points and an assist. Fourth quarter of action now, we have Reed along the outside, takes a few steps forward, and shoots up the 3 and gets it for the 37-point lead. Last few minutes of play finds us on the defensive side of the ball. Hurry breaks up the pass and gets the steal driving to the other side of the court. She finds Agna down low for the easy layup. The Leathernecks would go on to close out the game 93-49, advancing them to 20-4 on the season and 11-3 in the conference. Meanwhile, the EIU Panthers fall to 4-21 overall, 3-11 in conference. Leathernecks will compete again at home against Southern Indiana on Thursday at 5 p.m. Coverage can be found of the game on ESPN+.
On the men's side, they won their first conference game of the season against Eastern Illinois. The top performer for the Leathernecks was junior forward Lucas Lorenzen, scoring 24 points and getting 8 rebounds and the clutch slam dunk to close out the game. Western Illinois won 79-70. Both the men and women's teams don't play till next Thursday when they host Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles today in Western Hall at 5 and 7:30 p.m.
On Thursday, February 5th, the WIU women's basketball team clinched a spot in the OVC tournament with a win over Tennessee Tech. Leatherneck Insider reporter Patrick Cummings had the opportunity to speak to head coach J.D. Gravina about the team's playoff berth.
The WIU women's basketball team recently clinched a spot in the OVC tournament with a win over Tennessee Tech. I had the opportunity to speak to head coach J.D. Gravina on how he feels about this accomplishment.
It's a good accomplishment. I think that's always kind of the first level of goals is to get a spot in the conference tournament. I never had a team miss the conference tournament, so it's nice to keep that going. Obviously, our goals are a lot bigger than just making the tournament, but at least it's kind of good to get that first stage out of the way.
Gravina then touched on how the team was able to stay focused despite clinching a playoff spot and having so much time left in the regular season.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, that probably isn't even listed in our goals is getting to the conference tournament because we knew we'd have a chance to, compete at that higher level. So we just have so much to play for. Number one, we're chasing a conference championship, and that doesn't happen around here very often. And then obviously there's a double bye in the conference tournament if you get one of the first 2 seeds. So that would be a huge accomplishment. And, then you're two games away from playing the NCAA tournament. Even some little things like the 1 and 2 seeds get the hotel that are connected to the arena. And that just makes the logistics of the conference tournament a lot easier. So there's a ton to play for. And our big thing right now is we're chasing the conference championship.
Gravina then went into how the team has been able to be successful despite not having one of their best players in Reagan McCowan.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really impressed with the team. Obviously, when a player of her caliber goes down, she was probably a top 15 mid-major player in the nation, and that could ruin a lot of teams. And I think a lot of our players stepped up. Obviously Mina Castro being the first one of, just really playing that role of a star that you have to play at a high level. But really, I think Mallory Shetley was a huge part of that. You take out a player like Reagan, who's probably the most prolific scorer that we've ever had at WIU, but Mallory comes in and she scored 2,000 points in her career, so she can score it a little bit herself. And so just everyone kind of staying calm. I think the experience helped with that, of not freaking out, knowing that despite the fact that we really miss Reagan on the court, we're still a pretty good team without her.
Gravina then explained some of the similarities between the 2016-17 women's basketball team that made the NCAA tournament and this year's team that currently sits at the top of the OVC.
Yeah, there are some similarities. I mean, I think the biggest one is that team was really experienced. We had several players who had several years of college experience. And also, I think another thing that was similar was we had a really good base group, and then we added a couple transfers on top. So you had kids like Emily Clemens, Taylor Higginbotham in that group that had came here as freshmen, developed in our program, and then we're able to add transfers like Morgan Bloomer and Olivia Braun. You see that with this team, and we have such a good core group with Allie, Addie, Kaylin Reed, Madison Davis, who all came here as four-year players, and then of course Reagan McCowan, who's still a big part of this team. And then you add Mina Castro, and then this year Mallory Shetley, to have that experience, and I think that similarity is definitely a strong one, because I think that's important. You can't have all transfers, but it's nice to have some transfers to kind of give you some missing pieces, and we're able to do that in both of those teams.
From Leatherneck Insider, I'm Patrick Cummings.
Thanks, Patrick, and good luck to the Leathernecks in the OVC tournament. When we come back, we talk about the football offseason and have our national news segment and a news segment exclusively on Leatherneck Insider.
Hey, you'll find your school.
I just want to find a place where I can be myself. I want to try new things. I want to find my people. I want to make a difference. I want to have a place to grow, to make mistakes, to learn new things. And I want to do college on my own terms.
Welcome to the University Union. Serving as the center of campus life, the Union is a great place to hang out with friends for lunch, meet with a student organization, attend events, or take advantage of one of our lounge spaces to study or relax in between classes. The University Union is here for you.
Welcome back inside Salee Hall. Leatherneck Insider reporter Glenn Novak had the chance to speak to WIU Special Teams Coordinator and recruiting coordinator Joshua Caraway about the team losing star players in the transfer portal. Here's Glenn with more.
I talked to recruiting coordinator Joshua Caraway about veteran players leaving in the transfer portal.
I'm thrilled for our student athletes who are able to go in and find something that benefits them. Obviously, I think that they always have a really strong future with us, and we hope that we can retain all those guys. But ultimately, with the way that it is now, is that there are so many guys in the portal. 11,000 student athletes in all of college football hopped into the portal this past cycle. And so of those 11,000, and that's not including the JUCO and the NAI players who believe that they can play Division I football, there's more good football players available than there's ever been as far as looking to who can add that immediate impact at the mid-year or in January to any college football team. So while we hate to see guys go and leave our program, honestly, as a recruiting coordinator, I'm excited to think about there are so many just great athletes out there, whether they're the Division II or Division III guy that maybe feels like he got overlooked and has a chip on his shoulder and wants to play up. We signed 8 Division II guys here in this transfer portal class. We're fired up about that. Or it's the FBS or the FCS guys who either want to play more or need a new change of scenery. We signed 10 of those guys. So I think there's so much opportunity out there, and there's so many great football players that really they're out there. You just have to do the work to be able to go get with other coaching staffs to make sure that you know these football players. And obviously during the recruiting process, you want to make sure that they're right for us, but that we're right for them. And we think that we are right for a lot of people in choosing to be a football player and to excel both in the classroom, the football field, and in life.
I also spoke to Coach Caraway about key plays his special teams unit made this season.
Well, I think the challenge with any special teams coach is that any student athlete that you get, they didn't come to a college program to be the starting gunner on punt. They didn't come to be the starting right guard on kickoff return. These are offensive and defensive players that oftentimes see an opportunity, and you as a coach have to motivate them to go do that. And what is great about being the special teams coordinator here at Western is that I feel like I've got a locker room of 105 guys with what we call the core, that's what we call our special teams here, that are so fired up to be a part of the core. They're so fired up to get a role. I know a lot of them are young guys that may not be playing on offense or defense, and special teams might be their first opportunity. And even some of the things that you mentioned as far as this past season, the 2 blocked punts that we had this year were coming from Ethan Ladd, who was a great defensive spell player for us, but he wasn't one of the starting linebackers. But he definitely found a role in special teams and helped us win ball games on punt block and return from that perspective. And then even you mentioned the turnover we had versus Lindenwood on punt. That was a freshman gunner, Don Paul Keith, that was able to go downfield and go make that play. So I love it when I can see young guys or guys who may have not found a solidified spot on the offensive or defensive 2 deep really find their role. And I think we've done a great job emphasizing special teams here at Western, that being in the core is special, being able to provide that edge, that winning edge. We're only going to be on the field for about 30 to 40 clips during a game, whereas offense and defense, you might be on the field for anywhere near 60 or 70. But in those 30 special teams plays, there's going to be about 4 or 5 that are going to give you the opportunity to either win or lose the football game. And we're coaching our guys consistently to be prepared for every single rep you're on the field. It might be one of those plays. That's the mindset they have. They're just going to play as hard, as fast, as long as they can, not worry about anything all the time. And as long as they continue to play to that standard here at Western, I feel that they're going to like the scoreboard there at the end of the game.
I'm Glenn Novak from Leatherneck Insider.
Thank you, Glenn. Last week, Western Illinois head football coach Joe Davis announced a goal to raise $125,000 by April 25th for the Bruce Carrick Spring football game.
It's now time for a new segment, Rounding the Bases with Bogey. Here's Caden Strens.
What's up, Leatherneck Nation, and welcome to Around the Bases with Bogey.
Yeah.
The outfielder Justin Bogard for the baseball team. How you doing, Bogey?
I'm doing good, Ken Strens. I just want to say it's an honor to be here today with you. It's been a dream of mine to be interviewed by you, so dreams are coming true today.
I appreciate that, Bogey, but let's get started here. The leadoff, the first pitch dinner a few weeks ago for you guys. I mean, what was that like to get a sense of community around your alumni coming back? What was that like?
Yeah, it's always an exciting event, good fundraiser for us, for our team, but the most exciting part is seeing the old OG Leatherneck guys out there, especially Connie Colwell. You know, hearing him talk about the 1974 Hall of Fame team, it never gets old. And every time you see him, he's just full of energy, and it's always just good vibes, especially at the first pitch dinner.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that, the energy. Like, that's what Connie always brings. He was here last year at several baseball games, and every time I talked to him, it was just energetic.
Oh, yeah.
Love that guy. And now you're talking about you, Justin. You had a season-ending injury at Little Rock last year, and now you're trying to get back into the field here in a few weeks. What has the injury process been like, the rehab? How has that been like for you physically and mentally?
So I've been playing baseball my whole life. I've been playing sports my whole life, and that was the worst injury I've ever had. I did have surgery over the summer, and ever since then it's just been grueling physical therapy about 5 to 6 days a week. I'm on the tail end of it. I should be back on the field in about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how things continue to progress going forward. But it's been hard. I'm not going to lie, it's been hard. But I'm excited to get back out here with my teammates and get back on the field and hopefully, have a really good season out here in my senior season.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely It's been tough for you, but I'm glad to see that you're working your way back out into the field just a few weeks away.
I appreciate that.
I mean, I hope to see a lot of home runs. Hope to see that scoreboard behind us. Lots of runs for the Leathernecks, not the Guests.
Yes.
Leathernecks.
Yes,
Right.
yes, for the Leathernecks.
Of course. Talk about the preseason polls now. You guys, I mean, you obviously knew it. You know that you guys are projected for last place. But, I mean, do you care necessarily about what a preseason poll, what other people tell you where you're at? Is that extra motivation, whether it's good or bad?
For me personally, and I think for our teammates, when it came out, we didn't talk much about it. I don't think it really gets to us. I feel like we should have had a little more respect put on our names, considering that, since our coach has gotten here, we've taken strides in the right direction. We've gotten better. We've beat some quality teams in the conference last year, and we were picked pretty low last year, and I feel like we made some teams respect us more than they did the year before. So I feel like we earned more respect, but preseason polls don't really bother us. Baseball's a weird game where anybody can win any given day, so I mean, just ask Iowa.
That's right. Last year, you guys took them down, that Big Ten win, and ending on a fun note here for this first segment of Around the Bases with Bogey. Kobe always does this with Athlete of the Week. He ends on a fun note, and it's like, could I do this better than you? Okay. So we're going to put Kobe, me, and you on the rankings here, running around the bases. Like a race.
Okay.
Who does it the quickest? Me, you, Kobe. Rank it 1 to 3, 1 quickest, 3 slowest. How would you rank it?
Okay, so I'm going to put my hero, Caden Strentz, 1.
Whoa.
Only because, I'm working back from injury.
Good point.
I'm still working on the running portion, so I'll let you have it this time.
I appreciate
I'm going to be 2. I think I could beat Kobe even when I was on crutches, so those are going to be my rankings.
Hey, with the Winter Olympics going on, obviously this isn't a Winter Olympic sport, but I think that we should try that in Around the Bases with Bogey at some point
I agree.
this semester. I think we have to make that happen. And Kobe, I know you're watching right now, but we're going to have to make
Kobe,
that happen. What do you
I
got?
challenge you. I challenge you right here, right now. We're going to go around the bases.
Right here, right now. We're going to have to make that happen, but you got to be fully 100%. Although you did just say.
I'm be real with you, man. I don't even think I have to be 100% to be Kobe.
I'm looking forward to seeing that, Bogey. I really am. Just like we're looking forward to seeing you out in the outfield, making those diving catches, and in the batter's box, hitting those bombs.
Hey, man,
right field, left field, all around.
Hey,
So appreciate it. That's the first segment of Around the Bases with Bogey. Plenty more to come this semester. And for Leatherneck Insider, both broadcasting students, Justin Bogard and Caden Strentz.
Wow, okay, beating Kobe in a race with crutches? I don't know, Glenn. I'm gonna have to take Bogey here.
I mean, I would have to go with Kobe if Bogey's going to be in crutches. That's a pretty big advantage in these kinds of races. But this week we have Cody Gill doing this week's national news segment. Take it away, Cody.
Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate it. We'll start this week off from the very top. That is, very top of the country. The Arizona Wildcats traveled to Allen Fieldhouse to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. With 10:24 remaining in the second half, Kansas big man Flory Badunga would get inside and hit a layup to start the run for Kansas. About a minute later, Badunga would follow this up with a dunk to give the Jayhawks a 65-64 lead. From that point on, they never gave up the lead as they go on to win and hand Arizona their first loss of the season, despite being without Darren Peterson, the star freshman for Kansas. I'm moving over to the Big Ten now. We have a couple of overtime matchups. We'll start in Lincoln, Nebraska, where the number 13 Purdue Boilermakers were able to knock off the number 7 Cornhuskers 80-77. With under a minute to go, Osterkluff gets the layup and in to cut the Husker lead to 1. With time winding down, Clough gets it in the low post as he puts it up and in again, plus the foul with 5.2 remaining. He'd missed the free throw, but the Huskers were unable to do anything else as Jakari Harris gets a steal and hits a couple free throws to seal the victory, despite Nebraska erasing a 22-point second-half deficit. And moving over to Champaign, the number 8 Illini, missing both starters Kylan Boswell and Andrei Stojakovic, hosted the Wisconsin Badgers. Most of the game was back and forth as the two kept trading leads throughout the first half. The second half started off with much of the same as the teams continued to trade leads, but with about 15 minutes left in regulation, Illini freshman David Mirkovic would hit the three to start a run for Illinois. Tomislav Ivasic and Keaton Wagler would get baskets of their own to continue to grow the lead. With 8:10 in the second, Wagler would get the and one, hit the free throw, push the lead all the way up to 12. But here come the Badgers. Austin Rapp hits a three to make it 74-67. A couple minutes later, John Blackwell would hit a couple layups to cut the lead to 5. Then with 2:20 to go, Rapp drills another deep ball to knot it up at 76. Then with 6 seconds left in regulation, Blackwell would miss the go-ahead three, pushing it to overtime. The Badgers would start overtime on an 8-0 run to go up 89-81. Illinois would also make a run themselves as they get the lead down to 1 with 6.3 seconds left after Ben Hummerkauf's three-pointer. John Blackwell would be intentionally fouled, hit the first free throw, but missed the second, leaving the door open for Illinois. And with the clock running down, Keaton Wagler bringing up the floor, the defender all over him, throws up the prayer, and it comes up just short. Wisconsin stuns Illinois at the State Farm Center, pinning Illinois their second straight loss, despite star freshman Keaton Wagler racking up another 34 points in this one. Well, that's all I have for this week's College Hoops Recap. I'll be back with more for you guys next week. Back over to you guys.
Thanks, Cody. Well, that's going to wrap up things from us. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at InsiderWIU. From our entire crew, I'm Glenn Novak.
And I'm Patrick Cummings. Have a great week in Macomb.